Hello and welcome one and all to another stream of me trying to make a game. Sorry if that was annoying. I do sincerely apologize. One moment. I blinked out on what to say, so that is what came out. So, let's begin. So, where are we with the project and what do we hope to accomplish today? Concisely put, we have bits of aesthetic, and the level isn't exactly where we would like it to be. In order to resolve that, what we're going to attempt to do today is put some level of impact on the collision. Currently, this is where the game resides. Acknowledging that only two are operationally functional, A and B, and that is my daughter calling. So, hi kiddo. You taking a bubble bath? Yeah. Nice. You having fun? Nice. I love all the toys you got going. You're gathering them all up? How was your day? Good. You excited for Princess Tower? Awesome. Hmm? What'd you say, honey? Okay, I can kind of hear you. I heard Papa, and then I'm not unsure about the other part. Let me increase the volume on my phone so I can hear you better. Oh yeah? It does spin very fast when you pour water in it. That's like cause and effect. You found it. All right, kiddo. I'll let you look for it. I love you very much. Have a good night, okay? I'll see you tomorrow. What's up, Gabriel? Unless Jade expresses so, no. Appreciate the courtesy. Good night, kiddo. Love you. Bye. All right. We also need music, so let's get that going. Ugh. The explosion kind of get. I mean, maybe it'll be more clear when we get the actual, um, what's it called? The actual shader in there. But it kind of loses itself in it. Because there are so many particles. Perhaps we would just simply reduce the amount of snowfall. So let's do that. Let's bring this in half. That's a bit better, yeah. And then if we reduce the size of it, the scale. Okay. And then we'll leave it at that. But now we're arguing over aesthetics, and don't need to necessarily do that. We just need to sell the impact of this A right now. That's our primary objective. I think I applied this to a color rect, right? And within the shader code of the color rect, give me a second. Oh boy. Okay. I have to get into a better habit of doing this before the stream. Okay, I need the... Again, I gotta get into a better habit of doing this earlier. I do sincerely apologize. But hopefully or either that or I'll just get faster at doing this. One or the other. But I will deduct a point for myself for repeating a pattern that I know is not enjoyable. Okay. All right. Likely not. Sorry. Voices inside, and you respond to that, and then you're out loud because you're streaming, and then you forget. What we were going to change is the global variable, or what they call a uniform, for shader, from this to a to just plain pink. In order to do that, luckily I think we can do this within the actual, yep, we can do this within the actual engine here. Rather, I thought we would have to export like a new image, but we should be able to grab not a gradient. It's and essentially I just needed like a sprite. You know what? We'll just go with gradient. Now I just don't remember how to change the values enough to make it different colors. I know this affects shading, but how do I make you different colors? Should be relatively easy. Just zoom in here. Okay, hold on. Let's delete this. Go here, gradient. Pink. Huh. I'm under the impression that this would just make it pure pink. Perhaps I do need to go with the original idea and just copy a... Let's go with that. This is how many pixels? Where's the alphabet? (72 by 84). I don't think it necessarily needs to be the same size, just for simplicity's sake. Any of you guys playing this? I am not currently. I don't think anyone else is either. That's a hyperbole. I'm sure other people are playing this game. But then again, I've been in a bad rut of not playing games, so I have to get into the habit of that again. What was it, 72 by 84? Let's do 32 by 32. Again, it really shouldn't matter. Transparency. And we need a lighter version of this color, which is... better solution. I actually don't think I need to add another one. I don't need a sprite sheet, I just need a... new layer. And this layer 2, I need to... Shouldn't really matter what type of... registers is primarily purple. Bloody hell. So I was wrong. It does matter. Let's go with the... Same thing. So we'll grab the brightest of them. Add a layer. Alright, so this is on layer. So we'll take this, we'll blind this one. We only want to draw on layer 1. And then pretty simply, it's not a bucket, I think it's called P. Nope. Is it G? Yep. Alright, and then right click, delete this layer. Now we have our pink. Save this. Oh, did I overwrite pink E just now? I did. I did overwrite pink E. I wonder if I can Control Z all that? I don't think so. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Alright. Damage is done. Don't save. Don't save. Because we already overwrote pink and it, so we're fine. I'll put this under shaders since that's what we're gonna use for it, is specifically the shader. Make sure it's in the shader one. Of course it's not. It's gonna be called, pink E, which, right, so that makes sense because it overwrote it. Anyway. So we're gonna go back to our color, and specifically we're gonna go into not the exploding particles. We need the color rect, and in the color rect shockwave script, we have the option to put in a hit screen texture, and rather than having a gradient, we're gonna use a color. We should be able to quick load this. And then we'll type in pink E, unfortunately, because again of the overwriting. That has been applied. Okay. And now that being completely pink should be fine. But I don't fully understand these errors. Read them one at a time. This warning can be disabled in Project Manager. This couldn't resolve track of 2D pixel. Reset couldn't resolve exploding. Couldn't resolve track, couldn't resolve track. I think these are a culmination of errors that can be ignored, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But we'll see, I suppose, in a moment. When you apply the shader, so let's go into the code for the letter A. Oh, where is the signal emitting from? I think it has to be emitting from the area, yep. So double click on that to get to where our code is. Await, and then this is the spot I had saved for us to put in the shader. So at this point, I don't even know if that's necessarily true. We should check if the shader works, because I was gonna activate or make the shader visible, but I don't think that's necessary until we figure out that actually works. I think I clicked the wrong one. Yep, wrong prototype of the game. Yeah. Part of what I believe is wrong is that think from the level of the solution. if this were working, what would I see? Can we refer to the original script and then determine the meaning from there? The only thing that was changed within the script is this uniform. Do we know that for a fact? Fairly certain. We changed this variable name and offered it here, as the error stated that it needed a sampler 2D. To get the color of it. Now, is it possible that the shader just needs to be lower? Or perhaps we're not applying... the example I saw previously was a shader applied to a color rect. So I believe that is right. I don't think there's anything wrong necessarily with its placement. And maybe it's these errors that are leading to the issue. Making sure that A is still operating the same way. Yeah. So... what is... Well, I suppose the first action is we have definitive errors to resolve, so let's focus on those. And the meaning of those. So... oh, I don't have Notepad++? I didn't know that. I suppose I should keep this in the overall journal. Oops. Am I not spelling shader right? I don't think Obsidian knows what a shader is. Either that or I've been spelling it wrong for a very long time. Nope, yep, I'm right. That's a word. You know, I feel like I have some of this already written. Is that potentially in here? Yep. Resolve meaning of errors. Trying to keep better track of the errors that I encounter. Couldn't resolve track. Each of the reset ones could be disabled, so we can ignore those. But it couldn't resolve track is a fair error. Animation mixer error. So on the animation, if this is the core of the issue, because we were attempting to apply the shader at that point. Oh wait, not even attempting, we do. Or perhaps this is unnecessary and it still happens. I'm pretty sure it still happens. Yeah, because we're calling in the code rather than applying in the animation. We activate the particles and then it's so quickly taken off of the screen that it doesn't even matter that the particles remain on, because very soon they're taken off. Okay. So that solves one error. So let's play it again. I'm not sure if that's if it's gonna show the errors when I play it again. There they are. Good. So only one error. Couldn't resolve track. This is also on the animation player. This is for the touched. Couldn't resolve track. Animation player touched. So here's touched. On animation here. Again, we don't need because we do it in the logic rather than in the animation. I suppose both are fine. Ah. No, I suppose it's not. I thought it would be. We do call it in the animation. I thought we called it in the code. Perhaps both, which would be redundant, but then we would have the same effect. Yeah, we don't call it. We call the one touch animation, which makes sense overall, because we're going to continuously use this touched thing. And because we're continuously using it, we can just couple it rather than making it two separate things of touched and this, when it's all part of giving feedback essentially that collision has happened or that we have been touched. Warhammer needs to be updated. Why? Why? Really? Yeah, it should be on my D drive. Wow, I am showing way too much. Neither of these should be on my D drive. I'll resolve this later. That's gonna be boring. Okay, so considering beginning of animation, end animation, what is exactly the issue here? Couldn't resolve explosion particle. What about this could not be resolved? What the heck? It's not working. There we go. What exactly can't be resolved in this? Ah, did the wrong thing. Couldn't resolve track. Okay, I don't think it's all of these errors. Couldn't resolve track. Couldn't resolve track. Resolve track is an error message that typically occurs when the animation tree is trying to access an animation track that does not exist or cannot be found. Makes sense, right? But what a bit is words I say from my mouth hole. You couldn't resolve the track of being touched. Does it say a line? Does it give me a line? I don't know if I'm reading that as like a port number now of 668. But I don't know. That's not a port number. But I highly doubt that there's 668 lines of shader code in there. But let's refer to the shader, shall we? Oh no, it's not. There is no shader. It's strictly within the animation player. And the animation player, hate that it does this. Hate is a strong word. It's mildly encumbering. Ugh. Oh. Oh, God. Ow. Ugh. Okay, focus. So, in this animation that plays, at no point is the... First of all, can we reduce the animation's total length? Alright, well, I don't think that this... I don't want to ignore an issue, but this seems to be directly related to the animation, and the only error that is occurring is this one, where it's saying couldn't resolve explosion particles. But it is still named explosion particles. Let me go back to it again. What about this is wrong? She can't access it? I don't know, but I think it's an error that can be ignored. Anyway, the thing to focus on, again, is applying the shader. So we don't need to resolve that one anymore. It is an outstanding issue. Okay. I'm working on my documentation skills. I do it for my job, but then there's times when you're like trying to do tests and stuff quickly, where I miss the detail of like a good note and keeping good track of these things. So especially when it comes to screenshots and whatnot. But anyway, considering all that, what we need is to determine what exactly is going on with the shader. and how we're not correctly applying it. To do that, we first need to go to the source, godotshaders.com, and we're looking for a canvas item. Actually, we can look at shock wave. This is the shock wave that we had. Here is the YouTube video explaining it. So we'll go into that and then look to see what is... I hate that it's 15 minutes long. There has to be a way to distill this. Much respect to no colloid, but yeah. Oh, even heartbeat like that. So yeah, much respect to them. I'm trying to be efficient with my time here. Okay. Chat, you don't mind 40 hertz, right? Let me know if you do. It's scientifically proven to help with focus and memory retention, just if it sways your persuasion a little bit.
Noe here, and welcome to this Godot tutorial where I will explain you how to make a shockwave shader that looks like this. There are hundreds. Today we will use a fragment shader, which is basically code that runs for every pixel in a given area and returns a new color for each of those pixels. To do anything remotely interesting, we need to know where's the current pixel. That information is given by the UV coordinates, or in short...
If it's given by the UV coordinates, are we referencing the UV coordinates correctly? Perhaps it's not at the correct position. Which I believe it is, because we directly put in, which feels sloppy, but nevertheless, we directly put in the hard-coded, essentially, the positioning at -4 and -1. Is -4 and -1 indeed the coordinate where we have the sprite? -4 and -1, that is correct. So that's not the issue. Get out of here!
UV. The UV is a vector whose x and y coordinates range from 0 to 1, no matter the dimensions or resolution of the screen. For example, the UV of the center pixel is 0.5, 0.5. It has also a cool visual representation where we set the red and green channels of the pixels to the UV. When we are at 0, 1, the color is green. When we are at 1, 0, the color is red. And at the top right, at 1, 1, it's... Okay, so now we want to save the shader so we can use it elsewhere. Under Material, right-click the shader and hit Save. So in Godot, you select the canvas item you want to apply the shader to, and under Material, you create a new shader.
Is that what we did? No. We want to apply it to the sprite, therefore we should do it here. See if that resolves it. Has that white pixel quote unquote problem that we had before. Get out of here. At least we see an effect.
shader material. And here you create a new shader. In the shader, we need to tell Godot what type of shader this is. So we type shader type, and this is a canvas item, so canvas item.
Makes sense, and that's what we have.
To tell the compiler,
Or that's what we copied, rather.
Expression. Next, we want to create the fragment function, so that will be the code that will be executed for every pixel in the canvas item. So void, fragment, parentheses, and finally curly brackets.
Interesting. This feels completely divorced from what, oh no, just more variables at play.
For the sake of having a visual representation, let's set the color to the UV, or respectively the red and green channels to the UV distortion. So this is it. We have made a shockwave using shaders, and now we can use an...
This is applied to a color rect. A color rect that's affecting the entirety of the screen that's controlled by an animation player. So I think I need to determine if this needs to be connected to an animation player.
Full UV representation. Now let's create the distortion for the shockwave. We want to displace the pixels away from a point. On a vector field, it would look something like this. First of all, we need to define a new uniform variable for the center point. We declare it here at the top, uniform vec2 center. And as you can see, it shows up in the inspector. In the fragment function, we define a new vec2 that we call disp, and we set it to the UV minus the center. This gives us the vector going from the center to the current UV coordinate. Then we normalize the whole thing, so we only keep the direction. Now we can use this to displace the UV. On the line below, we change the UV to UV minus disp. Currently, the center point is here, but we want it to be in the center of the image. So in the inspector, we set it to 0.5, 0.5. And as you can see, the UV made a shockwave using shaders. And now we can use an animation.
Are we using screen size? Multiple times, unfortunately. And although his thing does point to it, it doesn't necessarily resolve it. Is this the same video? This is a different video. What the fuck? Based on, oh. So on me for not reading properly.
There is a great tutorial on how to create a shockwave shader in Godot by NullColloid, link in the description. I recommend watching it before proceeding with this tutorial, because the shader itself is the same, and all the credits for it should go to NullColloid. I only modified his shader a little bit. The problem: this shockwave shader takes the UV coordinate for its center. I need to pass the position of the object to it and create a shockwave starting from the object's position. The second problem: I am a complete noob with the shaders, so it took me a couple of days to figure it out. If you want the result and don't want to watch the whole video, feel free to grab the demo project and the shader itself from GitHub and use it as you wish. It's under a standard MIT license. So here I have the scene with the camera, background and the Godot icon. I want the shockwave to be emitted from the Godot icon when I press space. If I press space now, the shockwave will be emitted from the center of the screen. It is because we set the center of the shockwave in 0.5, 0.5 in the UV coordinates. Right now the shader is the same shader in the tutorial I mentioned earlier, so let's change it. Let's add a uniform vector to global position to be able to pass the position of the object. And let's move the...
So it's not on the object itself. They have it applied on the canvas layer, which is the furthermost layer they have. No, it's a child of the camera. And then the canvas layer, a color rect, and an animation player. I don't think I need the animation player because the animation player is what's managing it, and we already have something that is managing it. So XNA, the animation player. Focus. Too many ideas popped up at once. I need to focus on what I'm doing, which is applying, understanding that these things can still exist. What we need is the canvas layer, which will be applied, but specifically to the camera, which is a child of the camera. Camera or the player. And that color rect has a shader. Shock wave shader. Then again, it's not really the shader. The shader is the code. That's a different shader? This looks like a different shader completely. Yeah, it is. What is the file for shader? GD shade. Confused by that then. They said there's this one. I suppose so. Let's just start fresh. Back to the canvas layer. Oops. I accidentally deleted that. That's fine. Color, rect, material, shader material, click, shader, shock. Oops. Shock wave. And then take from the Godot shader site. Save. That's going to be the issue. That's the issue we had encountered before. But all this is trying to do is grab a color. I'm pretty sure. And it says add uniform sampler 2D with the same variable type. Or same variable name. So we're going to take this variable name. Uniform. Was it 2D sampler? Sampler 2D.
vector2 center into the fragment function. So let's change it. Let's add a uniform vector2 global position to be able to pass the position of the object. And let's move the vector2 center into the fragment function. We don't need it as
This brings on a different issue. If we continue down this path and we are referencing, but it's not hard coded, it's a uniform with no default value, it's not hard coded. So therefore, we can apply the same shader to multiple things. We'll see how this works.
the uniform anymore. And let's assign it to the global position for now. Let's change the script that happens when we press space, and let's pass the global position of the sprite to the global position uniform of the shape. Happens when we press space, and let's pass the global position of the sprite to the global position change. Let's change the script that happens when we press space, and let's pass the global position of the sprite to the global position uniform of the shader.
Shader material, set the parameter for the global position to equal the global position of the sprite itself. Once you press A. So upon collision, set that variable. So that variable is not pre-identified. Rather, it is defined in the script that once we do this, that we grab the set. It was okay with material, and then it went off the wall. Material. Perhaps I can reference it directly. Dot shader. Set shader. No. Set shader parameter. Because it was a function. Yes. isn't gonna do what we want it to. Transform 2D variables, what? A 2x3 matrix representing two-dimensional space. Could the variables that are emitted from that create a... It contains vector 2 values. So the additional value is an origin. Would a third parameter, being the origin, disrupt this? Could we set origin to be the... It doesn't even ask for center here. How do we identify center? Center is the global position. Makes sense, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Let's switch gears to a different problem and come back to this. As of right now, let's the most intelligent way to go about this is the most intelligent way for me to go about this is switching gears to making this level as actionable as possible. We're going to turn off the canvas layer for now since we don't know exactly how we're going to fix the shader just yet. We have A, B, and C. B has the same animation as A, but it doesn't contain a particle effect. So I think I need to attach, what I'm curious on, just out of truly curious, just scientific, if you will, curiosity, to see if I apply the same animation player when the animation player here references, I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen. But just out of curiosity, because here, wait, I'm confused. Okay. Oh, I think that's what it was the error from before of the could not resolve track. It's saying, hey, you want to reference a particle effect, but a particle effect does not currently exist for the other objects that had this attached. So that explains that. So that's why you follow curiosity. You may find answers to things that you don't even know you were questioning, or you knew. Anyway, follow curiosity. That being said, we have the exploding sprites underneath the, we have the exploding particles underneath the sprite. We're going to apply the same thing here for letter B and for letter C. And the reason that we're keeping these flexible is because, you know, we're doing so many modifications. What would be the typically suggested methodology is to apply a prefab, but and I think I talked about this before. Rather than hard coding it, and by hard coding I mean saying we're going to emit a signal when it's touched within the script. I just like doing it in the inspector. I may be forced to eventually do it the other way. I think I just need to properly learn it so I can utilize that technique. But anyway, we have the exploding sprite under A, exploding sprite under B, and let's add the exploding sprite under C. Oh, we do. Okay. So now we just need the animation to be applied. So we're going to take the animation player, Control C, Control V, We can actually test it here. So we're on the letter B, we're gonna play the animation, and it does the exact same thing we expect it to. Control V, back to touched, play the animation, does what we expect it to. Now, the collision shape was also, right, because they're all, I think, related. Yeah, all the collision shape for all the areas are related. That was to make it uniform. So we should be good to go with A, B, and C. Huh. Right. So we're gonna comment out this line of code, gonna end it, we're gonna restart it. We're gonna take the shader off of the letter A. The shader is applied to the sprite, I believe. Currently, we're gonna take that off. Do we not? Maybe we didn't have logic applied to this yet. That's my only thing I can think about right now. Think of right now. Yep, this was not applied. Now it was body entered the basic one, right? I think that's one makes the most sense. Get out of here. Body entered basic one. Yep. Alright, that works. There's 3 letters. We can replicate that methodology and see if my kiddo vibes with that to begin with. The impact not being able to sell that is bothering me because obviously that's going to impact the gameplay. If it's sure we have the visual effect and it goes away, but I think it would matter so much more. It would feel so much more if you actually if there was something else coupled with it. I guess we'll go from there and see if she likes it. I'll save this for now, and then I'm gonna go to a different project. Still game dev related. It's a Saturday stream, so we're gonna go a bit longer than usual. Normally I go from 7 to 10. I'm thinking we're gonna go from 7 to 11, or 7 to 12 is my goal. 7 to 11 is the goal. Let me be clear. I'm gonna stretch it out. I'll be right back. And we're back. All right. So let's save this for now. Again, my kid's gonna be playing this little world. I'll switch my face out for hers. She'll go to the letters. Maybe I should put the letters closer to each other. Because that level design bias of like, I know where this is. I know where you're supposed to go. Let's not do that. Let's have it kind of intuitive. So that way she also is encouraged to like use the floating mechanic in a different way. Pretty intuitive is what I'm hoping for. So you start to fall, you go, let me move the player as well. It's really lowering the barrier of entry. It reminds me of in games, one of the quintessential things that I see, especially in action games, whom I love, Mass Effect, Seku, Arkham Knight is that Portal 2. You get the player to engage with it immediately. That is the tutorial. It's like, hey, boom, you're already engaged. A lot of games, rightfully so, given the pacing and type of story you're telling, will have an extended prologue, and then you get into the gameplay. That honestly can be boring. I really like when game designers, developers, put the player right into it. Hades, from Supergiant Games, also does a great job of this. Hades 1 and 2, of just pretty much immediately getting you to play the game, and then getting you invested in dialogue. Because as The Legend of Zelda pointed out, the creators of Legend of Zelda, they thought of the gameplay before they thought of the story. And I think that's ultimately where a lot is at. Like, yes, you can tell an interesting story, and that's fine and well and good, but that's ultimately not my goal. I mean, it is my goal. I really do want to tell stories, but I want you to engage, really enjoy yourself along the road, rather than, being carried by the story itself. Like, the gameplay should be so natural and addictive that similar to Hades, the gameplay is so fun and flashy and nice and good that you just want to continue on. So all of that to say, this is what my kid's gonna see. They start the game, they see A, they go into it, they see B, go into it, they can see C, they go into it. Now I'm gonna also reduce the snow again by half, because the snow is kind of overpowering the snow is overpowering the explosion. And I just want to make sure the explosion is very clear. Even that I see as being too much. Kind of want to reverse the order of that, because it's like maybe exploding once you get big enough. Anyway, I'll let my kid play, and then they'll determine from there. Let's go to the separate project. I forgot what I wanted to call this game. Let me see if I named it properly. Queen's Chess, yep. Should I work on Queen's Chess or God Game? I suppose I should work on the one that would make this the best possible practice as far as effort, energy, and intention. So let's work on God Game, because it's a little bit more intimidating. into hacking. Here's me getting it attached to the fucking aesthetics again, not focusing on the main objective. So we see the sprite and the light going on with it. Determine when a player enters it or not. Looks like it's only, oh yeah, the collision is clearly in that little circle. So, what I think I was attempting to do, which sounds relatively easy, but I know I was having a hard time with it before for a reason, is we see this torchlight, and this has a overly a hyperbolic shape. Obviously, a torchlight will not be that big. And in this torchlight, we have a collision shape. That is this little circle. But what I want to be able to do, for the sake of the game, is make it so the collision shape is directly proportional, 1-to-1. The collision shape is equal to the light shape. So here's the light shape. It's pretty big. And we want to make them equal. So when the light modifies, the collision shape modifies. Why do we want that? Well, the reason being is because this is going to be a game all about... oh, thank you, Jace? Appreciate it. Hope your day's going well. So yeah, the reason that we're doing that is so that way the light is 1-to-1 with the light is 1-to-1 with the, what's it called? Oh my god. Collision shape. So, I have a script right on the torchlight itself. I don't know if that makes sense to do, to be honest. I don't know if that makes sense to do. Oh, 10 away from my goal as far as followers, so that's great. That's great. All right, so what we need now is the script that we have on the light. So as of right now, we just have it playing the moment that the collision detection. We're not utilizing this. So the point light is what we're going to reference in the collision shape. I have the collision shape identified here. And at the start of this thing, we should say that the collision detection, I hate the naming of this, collision detection shape is equal to the collision detection shape is equal to the... Is there a chat going on and I'm just missing it? Because there were 4 people in here, I just completely missed that. I don't know. Anyway, the collision shape, the collision detection shape is equal to the point light. But specifically, what are we referencing for the point light? We're referencing the scale, I think. Let's see. Oop, let me change that. Make sure I'm in this variable. Am I in this? I am. What am I modifying? What am I modifying? I just saw. Not one-way collision, not transform. I could have sworn this should be scale, to my understanding. But I'm not seeing any changes. What the heck? Oops. Collision shape. Oh no, not collision shape, point light. Let me do this. Okay. Well, if anything, getting the statistics around that will be interesting. I mean, interesting indeed. Anyway, let's focus. The point light, we need the scale. I'm pretty sure. Oh, wait, here we go. Here we go. Yep, there it is. And I was 90% sure it was scale, but I was just second guessing myself. So we need to have the transform scale. The point light dot transform dot scale. No error from that. What's wrong with this? Node not found. Maybe it's because I don't have the appropriate name. I'm gonna lower the volume on this a little bit. So the collision shape is here. Okay. Peculiar indeed. Alright, anyway. Just gonna test something. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay, just wanted to make sure. I can pin the comment, but I can't remove the comment. I'm sure there's a way. Alright, I'm not sure how to go about that. But what we'll do is that. Now that should resolve the error. I think. Nope. Invalid access property transform. So should it just be the scale? Yeah, but as we can see, obviously the collision shape did not increase in size. Stayed the same. Eight o'clock. Why is that? Am I not referencing the right thing? Let's see. Point 0.57, 0.575, 0.57. No, 0.575, 0.76. 0.75, 0.76. It's not getting that from the collision shape. So it is getting it from the point light. And again, in the code, we're changing the collision shape to equal the point light scale. But why don't we see that reflected in, should this run at every frame? I don't know why it wouldn't be able to run at the very first frame. I highly doubt that this is a solution. Like 90% sure this is pointless, but let's check it out. To make it happen every frame seems stupid. Surprise, surprise, it is stupid. Alright. What's confusing to me is that it's showing that the point light scale is matching the other scale. And let me be more specific in my language here. Oh, sorry, itchy arm. My tattoo's dry. So obviously it's not going to happen. We're not going to apply this every frame. What we're going to do is, if we see, confirm that the point light scale is what we think it is. So here's the point light. Here's the scale. Yeah. What the hell? It is exactly what we're referencing. So perhaps this position is off? Its position's right directly here. And we're not hard coding it. We're not hard coding the position, and when we do set it equal to it, the values do reflect, but we don't see any change in the actual. What are we referencing here? I'm 90% sure again that this is scale. Collision shape. Material, where's the value? Here it is. No? Oh, okay, so we're modifying a separate value other than scale? What would that value be? What could that value be? Oh, is this it? Set handle. Handle? Where the fuck is that variable? Handle. It's not a natural attribute of the class that is collision shape. So I don't know. But hold on, since we're in it anyway, there should be a scale. No mention of scale either, which doesn't make sense to me either. But that's fine. Let's look at the. We have shape, but shape we already identify. Here are the properties: debug color, disabled, one-way collision, shape. So how are we identifying? Oh. Duh. Oh wait. No. Question still remains. I think we'll work on this for maybe like 10 more minutes and then we'll go into hacking. What do you say, chat? That's what I'm thinking. Because none of these values that we're modifying, saying here are all the properties of it, but we're not modifying any of these properties. What I think we're modifying is the scale. Hold on, let me go to the 2D scene. But then when I modify it here, nothing changes. But when I modify it here, that changes. So it is indeed the scale. I just don't know why when, even though we're setting it to equal, we're setting the collision shape, which is this, to equal the point light dot scale. And the point light scale is this. And then when we run the program and we print the value, it is the value of the point light scale. So why do we not see that reflected in the change within the collision shape? We see the value changed. What question am I not asking? Perhaps we don't need to modify the scale? I mean, what else could we be referencing? I mean, directly, here's the point light, here's the scale. We change this. This is the level of light, the area of the light. So we want the area of the light to be equal to the collision shape. There is no other meaning that we can extrapolate from that. That is exactly what we want. Let's go to a different problem within it. Okay. So the player is able to move. Let's adjust the camera position a bit. Let's adjust the camera position to be slightly above the player. In order to do that, what we're going to do is a point, not a point light. Let's do this then. Let's do a node 2D. Let's set that node 2D to be slightly above the player. Let's set the camera to be attached to that. And then let's see where that brings us as far as the viewing of it. Now if I move this node up more, okay. Now we're gonna add a shooting mechanic. As of right now, we're just gonna shoot the Godot sprite, so we don't get caught up in the art of it all. Although perhaps the art would be interesting. We'll see. As of right now, we're going to go to the script so we can shoot. Now, do we have, or throw is what we have here. As of right now, we have no action put here. We do have the ability to assign a sprite for the shield, so we're just going to plug that in as the icon, saying it should exist in the scene already. Well, then maybe we don't want to do it like this. Perhaps we can just reference it from the file itself, I think. So let's say we instantiate. Maybe I forgot how to spell it. Oh, sorry, doing this off screen. What's the point of that? I know what it means. What I'm trying to figure out is how to do it. So, new. So, I suppose we'll do that earlier, because it should be var shield is equal to a sprite, I suppose. I guess this is an instance where we should create a scene or a prefab for this. So let's create a sprite. It's going to be the root of this. Gonna scale it down a bit. Oops. Gonna add a collision shape, of course. What the hell happened there? That was wrong. And this is a rigid body. It's already a global variable, there's no point in doing that. It's being treated as a string. I'm trying to delete it, I'm trying to see what... Oh, what button did I have mapped to throw? I jump and throw mapped to the same button? For the time being, let's take that off. This is the pass. Is that we're not running it anywhere? It should be in the process function. Where do we have movement? In physics? I suppose that would make sense. Should we put the throw function within the movement function? And then that's how it's run? That makes initial sense to me. Yeah, it's printing a string. But is it? Oh, you know what I should do? So I'm saying it's a dat type data class capitalization. Oh, all of these are functions relating to all of these are functions stating that it's a oh my god, a string. So that answers my question. So considering that, how do I reference it as not a, perhaps stating exactly what it is to be treated as? A variable that is a rigid body. Alright, I'm gonna switch gears. Here. Let me stick with the problem for a little bit longer, so that way I just don't quit once adversity hits. We're treating it as a string, because I'm plugging in a string. But I'm also plugging in the name of a scene. If I take away the quotations, will that stop it from being treated as a string? Expected get or set for property declaration. Get tree. That change scene. I'm trying to reference a scene. Load. Instantiate scene used to instantiate load a scene. Add the instance to the scene tree. once we load it in, we need to instantiate it with new. Is that correct? They load in the scene, then you instantiate it by use instantiate method. Now, I don't even know if this is still a method. Dot instantiate. To string. Do I need to do it while creating a variable? I don't see why. Oh, Lord. Preload. I don't see those additional instantiations in here. I do see more of these. These are printing blank statements. Okay. preload and then loading seems redundant. Oh wait, do we see that change in the tree? Press the, we do not. So once we preload it, where do we go from there? The thing is, preload, it says that when we preload it and then reference the scene and then instantiate, return a resource from this file system located at path. During runtime, the resource is loaded when the script is being parsed. This function effectively acts as a reference to the resource. Note that this function requires a path. If you want to load a resource from a dynamic or variable path, use load, which you're not doing. We're using a definitive path, so preload works just fine. But once we spawn it, but I would expect to see it in the scene tree. So let me see if it actually is being spawned in the scene tree. I guess that's what we need to do. And then print the what is the variables in the instantiation? Wow, clear as mud. Notification received only when newly instantiated scene root node. Notification received only when the newly instanced scene root node. Only by the newly instantiated scene root node. Okay. So it's either enabled or I'm gonna say 20. Another thing we'll have to come back to. So we unfortunately didn't make much progress with either the shader that I wanted to apply for my kiddos game, and we didn't make much progress with instantiating the shield. and all that. Once we instantiate the shield, then once we spawn it, we can apply a force. It can spawn at a particular global position, all that stuff. But until I can figure out how to properly spawn it, I can't determine the proper spawn location. Anyway, what I need to do is switch over gears to hacking. It's hoping to make more progress, but what matters most is that we chop wood, carry water. Give me a second here. I think I have this mislabeled. No, I have it properly labeled. So we're going to what now? Hacking. My bad. Okay, so switching gears. No, come on. We are doing this web enumeration. Let me fix that. We're not doing SMB. We may touch SMB, but we're doing primarily web enumeration. Okay. So I know let's spawn our targeting machine and our VM. While that comes up, try running some web enumeration techniques you've learned in this section on the server above and use the info to get the flag. It should be relatively easy. So much so that I caution if I even really need to read this section. That may be hubris. So I'm actually gonna spawn this outside of it. Okay, from here, what I need is, we made the mistake before of running a full scan on everything. Let's try to just see what ports are open. So in order to do that, let me just pull up really quick a nmap command cheat sheet. We don't need host directories. Perhaps let's run on the port, because that is what we're given on the attack machine itself, is a port number. So, get out of here. Let's run it on, let's see what's running on the ports. Oops, shit. Now I need a new attack machine. And put that in right. Nmap, IP address, dash. Perhaps because I did not put in the exact specification. I should do that. Then the port number. Well, no, because I wanted to do all ports. Oh, so that's just a dash. No, see, yeah. Maybe because there was too much of a space here. Looks like a singular space. So let's take this out. Space, delete, port, and then the port number. It's 46701. I don't imagine it's going to take that long. Okay. Alright, well, just determine that they're open, but no the real concrete information about any of them. Now, our 46701, is that open? Four 6701 is open. TCP. So let's target that specific port. Four 6701. That is open, but no specification, so I'm missing something. Maybe if we do this, but we preface it with the SC and the SV. I think that space is going to screw it up. Did not screw it up. What we see on this port is it's running a web service, HTTP, a admin login page. So what we can do, I think, is run that admin login page. Do we have the URL for it? Could we take perhaps if we, maybe not ping, but like how do I access this? Fair enough. I feel like it's get or something. Oh, open. I guess, yeah, curl. So curl HTTP IP address. Incredibly basic login page, but to open it, I think we would need to run that command versus curl. While not a traditional web browser, curl can be used to fetch the display commands. We don't need the display commands. Another text-based browser that can be used to access the web page. Let's try that. W3M. And then let me just copy the same thing that we had before so I don't have to keep typing this. Control C. Just gonna see what happens if I click it. Looks like nothing. W3M HTTP. It's incredibly basic, yeah, that's what I thought too. So what can I even discover with this? I don't know. X DG dash open. There it is. This doesn't tell me much. This doesn't tell me much about the platform itself. I need to figure out where SMB is at least. Let's see what the enumeration technique that they recommend here. Fuff and GoBuster to perform this directory enumeration. GoBuster is a versatile tool that allows for performing DNS vhosts and brute forcing. The tool has additional functionality such as public AWS S3 buckets. Don't know what the fuck that means. For this module purposes, we are interested in the directory and file brute forcing modes specified in the switch directory. Let's run a simple scan using the directory.common word list. So we're utilizing GoBuster in this instance. Now, is GoBuster a native program in here? That's my question. GoBuster, it is. Whew, this is a bit of a doozy. I can get to at least 10 o'clock. I can get to at least 10 o'clock. If anything, I just need to switch gears again. Maybe I'll switch gears to, I don't know. But I can do this. So let's try that. Let's try this. Let's go GoBuster. With the directory -u, which I interpret to be user. Oh, no, it's obviously URL, HTTP. With this, is it // // Come on. Huh. Great. Great. Oh. Good. Requires word list not set. Going back to the command. This seems more focused if you understand. This seems like a directory path, but we don't know where this file exists. Give me one moment. All right. Oh, I do remember reading about this. It wouldn't be curl, it would be... Not what I wanted. Hmm. Ah. Well, duh, I'm missing digits from my IP address. Is that the full IP address? 5.8? Does it end in 5.8? Is that true? Hmm. Yeah, but it didn't have a link reference, right? The heck? What? Oh. Um. It wasn't N. Was it Nmap? Wow. Perhaps I need to be in. I mean, a terminal is a terminal. right? That's all I'm opening up is the terminal. Shouldn't really matter. Interesting. Let's hold out 30 more minutes. At least 30 more minutes. Because I would think now I need to open up a new terminal. And that is the specific port number, which brings us to the web page. Unable to split net 467 46701 46701. No. Oh, target machine went away. Oh, right, because, dang it, it's gonna spawn a different target machine. Shoot. Oops. Shoot. Wait. I don't know what I crossed out then? Okay. We're 80. And 21 was where we saw the SMB vulnerability? No. You're too fixated on the SMB vulnerability. See if we can access the admin page by utilizing that. I don't think so, but just gonna try. No reference to another page. Just some HTML for framing. And without the port number. Do I need to install what app, what web? It's like no. See if it's native within Parrot. Is what web exclusive to WordPress vulnerabilities? Web services. There is no reference within the page itself. What was I thinking? Oh, certificate. How did it recommend? Because this is the way I know how to do it. Perhaps. Know the source code. Robots file. And the source code didn't dictate that it was a WordPress file, right? No. Did not. To determine if SMB is even a vulnerability. To determine if SMB is even a vulnerability, it's where to try PN, I do not know. I think I had this all mixed up, so I think that's ultimately going to spawn nothing of value. Yep. Exit. I don't think it's going to spawn anything of value. Nmap PN. Let's see that first. What was the dash? Yeah. Is that with the port number? I suppose so, right? Because we can't access the site otherwise. Huh. And it's 10 o'clock, so we are nearing the end of the stream. Just trying to see if this scan yields anything. Because without getting the password, that's kind of what helped us bypass it before, is that we just got the password provided. It was like readily available. But now we need to scan through the system and determine where this flag file is. And I don't know how we would do that. I don't know yet, I should say. While it's doing that, I'm gonna ask AI a question of how they think they would go about answering this question. Flag.txt file, I'm pretty sure it was. Oh no, just the flag. Oh, that broadens it a bit. I thought we were looking for a specific file on the system, but we're looking for a specific flag, which makes me question what exactly is the flag that we're looking for? Go Buster, and looks like that was exactly what it wanted us to use. I just didn't understand this portion of it. Where is the one that has our virtual machine? There it is. Oh my god, I literally copied it. Oh, great. Now, son of a bitch. Seems like I have to learn what a word list is. But that is our time. That is my time for the stream. Thank you all those that did attend. I greatly appreciate it. We're gonna work more on hopefully we'll make some concrete progress soon, but you just gotta be patient in the process and keep working at it. We're gonna continue to figure out what went wrong with the shader for my kids game, so that way we can sell impact, but we have a basic of the level thus far. For my ideal game, God game, I have to figure out how to properly instantiate and then apply force to the shield once it is spawned. What I'm thinking is that we'll create points, so it'll be like this. I'll show you guys later, but we'll talk about it in the next session. So that's what we'll do for the next session for God game, what we'll do for my kiddos game, and then from here we need to understand exactly, when it comes to hacking, we need to go over and understand exactly how to get the flag, how to utilize FUF and GoBuster and other tools like that for web enumeration, to walk through that logic and really fully understand what I'm doing and why and how it works exactly. Just try to really get the big picture of it all, so that way I can be slow so I can be fast. Alright guys, that is the end of the session. I hope you have a wonderful night. I'm wishing you all the best, and remember that you are loved and you are cared about, and if it's really, really painful and hard, just stick in there one more day. Just one more day.